Yo, my hair really looks like the fucking vampire Lego minifigure right now. Like, I'm gonna post a picture of it right here and you tell me if it looks like that. I think it does. But somebody told me that it looked like a character from Blood In, Blood Out, which I will also post a picture of right there. So let me know, do I look like the fucking Lego vampire? Or do I look like fucking Wolverine? Or do I look like the dude from Blood In, Blood Out? Yeah, let me know. Yeah, anyway, on to the video. What's up YouTube, back again with another new video. This time around it is going to be a list of my personal favorite Adidas Boost releases of 2016, and I decided to limit myself to just 3, that way this video doesn't go kind of on forever. But first, I have some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list, but were still some of my favorites, and it would be the Olive 2.0s. I thought those were pretty sick, as well as the Olympic gold medal that came out I think in August of this year, and those were pretty difficult, at least for me, to try and get my hands on. Unfortunately, I didn't snag a pair of those either, which will be a common theme throughout this video, as you will notice. And lastly, the white reflective 2.0s with the 3M. I thought those were pretty dope, at least in comparison to the just normal white 2.0s that came out. I thought these were a hell of a lot cooler, and they were a lot better than the 1.0 white boost that I originally had. Alright, well, now that we got all those out of the way, we're going to start off with number 3. Number 3 is actually the Mystery Gray pair that came out, I believe, early on in the year, and those were extremely hard to get. I know some of you obviously managed to get a pair, and I guess the reason I really liked those was because they were somewhat similar to the wool pair that I have still right here, my last pair of Ultra Boosts, and that was a pair that I was looking to get, the Mystery Grays, to replace these, and unfortunately I could never get my hands on them. I don't know what current resale is on those, but my guesstimate would be $300 to $500 right now for a dead stock pair, which is something I would never pay, so yeah, you won't be seeing those here probably ever, so sad. Next, moving on to number 2. Now this is a pair I'm actually still trying to get. At least I've actively been searching for reasonable prices, whether barely used or brand new. It doesn't really matter to me. I just want a pair, and it is the Olympic silver medal colorway, which apparently wasn't extremely limited, because I had a homie tell me that he got like 2 or 3 pairs, because I guess they released multiple times. I never saw them in store. I don't recall seeing them pop up online when I went to go look for them, so I'm kind of shit out of luck with that. And I personally really liked the reflective silver plastic on the heel cup. I thought that was a really dope touch, as well as the kind of silver on the gradient prime knit where the toe box is. And yeah, I just think those are the sickest Ultra Boost pretty much overall, but it's not the pair that I ever kind of waited in line for or anything. The only shoe, which is the number 1 on this list, the only sneaker in my entire life that I ever had to wait in line for and didn't end up getting, were the chalk and or cream and or tan, because apparently people call them all 3 of those things, Ultra Boosts. Now those released like 3 or 4 times, and if you guys have seen on the GOAT app or even Grailed, the prices for those are all over the place. They're like $400 to $700 it seems, which is a complete fucking ripoff. But a quick little story that I want to go into right now is, for the first time I went to a Champs really early in the morning. I thought there was going to be nobody there for whatever reason. I guess I just wasn't fucking thinking. I stroll in there, and I guess people had been like sleeping in the mall or snuck in the mall or something, because I know you couldn't get in. Like, everything was locked, they had security, and nobody was getting in. So I thought I was the first one in there. I ran my happy ass like straight into I went straight upstairs to the Champs, and there was a fucking line of people, and I was so pissed. Like, I think there was like 10 people maybe, so I might have been like the 11th, which isn't a bad place to be in line. So anyway, we see the UPS man stroll in with this fat cart of Adidas boxes, and we're like, oh shit, those are probably, the boosts, those are the chalk boosts. So we're all chilling, we're like, oh, we're all probably gonna get a pair. And they're not letting anybody in yet, but the mall is open by this time. they like just kind of hold off. I don't really know why. And I'm not dissing Champs or anything, but I thought that this particular store was being extra shady. I'm not really too fucking butthurt about it, but a lot of people were. So we see like a nurse, or at least I think he was a nurse, randomly stroll in, even though they wouldn't let any of us in. He goes in and we're watching him. He goes to the counter. He gets like 3 pairs, right? And then they let him leave through the back. And everyone was fucking pissed. Like, they just let this dude, who was probably a friend of like the manager or something, like walk away with 3 pairs and exit out the back, while the rest of us were just sitting there like, fuck, maybe we're not gonna get a pair after all. Even though it did look like there were a lot delivered to the store. Maybe they were holding them for some backdoor customers, I have no idea. But anyway, so we see that, and then finally they start letting one at a time into the store to only buy 1 pair. And the worker there had asked you this before you walked in. They would ask, oh, what's your size? And if you would kind of hesitate or stutter on what size you wanted, they would kick you out of the line, which was fucking crazy. Like, you should have seen how violent people were getting towards the employees there. It was pretty bad. It was a pretty nasty scene. But yeah, the first few people went in, they got their pair. One guy, I think who was 3 people in front of me, went in, got a 9.5 or something, walks out, and immediately tries to sell them. Like, I think what, like retail 196, he tried to ask 300 right off the bat. Everyone was like, fuck you. And I believe he did get kicked out of the mall because you are not allowed to sell things in the mall like that unless you're a store, obviously. So yeah, he did eventually get kicked out of the mall. And he did try to sell them to a girl who was buying them for her brother, who didn't know what the retail price was. And he told her the retail price was $250. And honestly, I thought that was really fucked up. But right before I was about to say something, somebody else was like, no, they're $180 or whatever. And then she was like, wow, you tried to lie to me. And the dude kind of got red, like right before he got kicked out. But yeah, that was pretty fucked up. So fuck that guy. Because yeah, you're taking advantage of like some 15-year-old girl who didn't know what was going on. But right in front of me, the next person, so I'm like, oh, I'm about to get them. They tell them they're all sold out. And both of us were kind of like, nah, bullshit. Like, we just saw a huge shipment in, and we saw you guys kind of opening them. You could tell there was a lot more Adidas Boost boxes in there. And it seems like they were all Ultra Boosts, not NMDs or anything of the sort. But yeah, I didn't get a pair. I was kind of bummed for like 2 seconds, but I really didn't care. Like a day later, I kind of got over it. But yeah, those have pretty much been the elusive, impossible for me to get pair. But that's why they are my #1 favorite Boost release of the year. I just thought the chalk and cream colorway looked pretty amazing. And on top of that, since they already kind of have that tan look, they're not gonna get as dirty as the all-white pair that I had previously. And they had the Continental rubber, which this pair doesn't have, my white pair didn't have, my Gradients obviously had them, but yeah, the Continental rubber is so much better than this. Like, if there's a puddle of water, you're gonna slip and fall on your ass with these. Just something to take note of if you're buying a used pair of 1.0s. But yeah, so cream chalk colorway, my #1 Boost pick of the year. Let me know what your guys' favorite Ultra Boost release of the year was, whether or not you've been able to cop it. As you can see, I haven't been able to cop anything on this list. But now that I kind of downsized completely on everything, like I have like no sneakers left. Like I got like the Flyknits I just reviewed, the Vans Old School, and then these, which a lot of you have expressed interest in purchasing. I'll try to get back to a lot of you because I haven't worn these since August, which is a pretty long time, and I'm not sure if I want to let these go. I kind of do, but I know I'll never get my hands on these again, so I'm kind of iffy on that right now. And I'm not sure if they're ever going to make this awesome prime knit pattern again, because this is so much better than the 3.0s in my opinion. But yeah, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. I will have more videos coming out within the next few days. So yeah, peace out, YouTube.
Sad boys.